Hello, relatives. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining this webinar here. I'm happy to see everybody here. I'm going to introduce myself in my traditional language. Hamitakipi, chante washte nape chiuzapido, iushkian wichiankapi, Dallas Goldtooth Makiapido, Indigenous Environmental Network at Dawanido. My name is Dallas Goldtooth. I am the Keep It in the Ground campaign organizer with the Indigenous Environmental Network. I'm Dakota and Dene, and I currently live on the occupied Anishinaabe territories of so-called Chicago. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be actually sharing this space with some amazing speakers here who are going to be sharing some key information about what's going on right now in this with Congress and the work to address climate change. And what we are doing and what you are, hopefully you can be a part of this movement to push Congress to take even greater action to get us over the line, to really step up to the plate and confront climate change directly. So thank you so much. Say hi to us in the comments. I know some folks are going to be watching on Facebook, on different social media platforms. So please leave your name. Let us know where you're watching from so we can keep track of, like, who's along with us here. Let us know what brought you to this webinar and what information you'd like to find out. Also might be good just to leave your pronouns and what lands you currently live on. We want to recognize the original inhabitants of the territories in which we live. It's always good to combat settler colonialism and the erasure of Indigenous peoples. So feel free, please leave the name of whose territories you currently live on. Tonight, we're going to be talking about, there's going to be a lot of information. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. A lot of it is around Congress and actions that can be taken or the actions that Congress is currently taking to address climate change. And I'm going to let you know, like, it's confusing. Even those of us who've been working on this, it's a lot. And so we're going to try our very best to break it down for you. But really, there's going to be a couple of phrases that you're going to hear over and over, and I hope it sticks in your mind here. We're pushing for Congress to pass a full Build Back Better agenda with no cuts to care, no cuts to jobs, no cuts to climate justice. Absolutely upfront, that is why we are here. Tonight, we're going to share what's going on in Congress. So right now, a little bit of context, what I'm talking about. Congress is closing in on an infrastructure deal called the Build Back Better Agenda, BBB. It totals up to $4.1 trillion. Not that many people know, but this would be the biggest federal investment in stopping climate change in this country's history. That's just one part of the sweeping legislation that makes progress on many of our priorities and would serve as a down payment for a decade of a Green New Deal. So we're going to give you a breakdown of what's going on, who's with us and who's working with corporate lobbyists to cut down the deal. What can we do to make sure Congress seals the deal? These are all questions that we hope to answer tonight for you all, because again, we're trying to make this as accessible as possible. We have a group of amazing speakers from the Green New Deal Network here to share this information. The Green New Deal Network is a campaign and a network in 50 states, within tribal nations and in commonwealths. We're working together to transform our economy so it actually serves working people. This past 2 years have been crazy for a whole variety of reasons, which many of you know. We are currently still dealing with the pandemic, but we've also seen a rapid explosion of climate disasters, you could say, happening all across the globe. We've just within North America specifically, we've had hurricanes, we had wildfires, we had drought and extreme rains in many different places. A lot of communities who are on the front line, who live off the land, predominantly Indigenous communities, are seeing their entire ways of life changing before their eyes. That's the folks I work with the Indigenous Environmental Network. What we are seeing right now is an intersection of disasters. You have the pandemic-induced disaster along with climate-induced disaster. And real talk, it's low-income folks, Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities, poor white communities, working class communities who are carrying the brunt of these disasters. And that is why it is absolutely essential that our elected leaders do everything within their capability to confront this crisis head on. This is why I'm a part of this. This is why the Indigenous Environmental Network has been a part of this effort, a part of the Green New Deal Network. And this is why we're here tonight, to help share information about what we need to do. So now, I would like to pass it on to one of our speakers, Lauren Maunis. She is the Advocacy Director at Sunrise Movement, who will give us a brief overview of the bills that are in Congress. So I'd like to pass over to you, Lauren.
Awesome. Thanks, Dallas. Great to be here with you all. As Dallas mentioned, my name is Lauren Maunis, she, her pronouns. I am from Florida and currently live in Washington, D.C. and Piscataway land. And I am, organizing with Sunrise Movement as our advocacy director, trying to actually kickstart the decade of the Green New Deal and translate all of the organizing of the movement into felt policy change. So all that to say, here to give a little bit of a landscape of what is happening in DC. So Dallas is kind of giving an overview in the opening, but right now, as we speak, Congress is currently working on a huge climate, jobs, infrastructure, and economic recovery package through two different streams of legislation. And they're collectively being referred to as the Build Back Better plan. And both of those together total up to $4.1 trillion at this point. So there, like I said, two bills that are part of the Build Back Better package. The first one is a much smaller kind of bipartisan bill that you may know about, as it's referred to as the Exxon bill. And this has passed the Senate and is moving to the House, but it is way too small on its own to address the crises that we face. Because the Republican Party is trying to protect tax cuts for the wealthy and large corporations. And it's known as the Exxon bill because it was publicly released and that Exxon has a huge hand in actually influencing the content of that bill. All that to say, this is why we desperately need to pass the second bill, which is a $3.5 trillion budget bill. It's much bigger than the first and holds almost all of our climate care and justice investments of the deal. So if you're thinking about wanting more wind and solar power, wanting workers, providing elder care and home health care to those in need, wanting more investments in education or adding dental, vision, and hearing coverage to Medicare, or raising taxes on corporations and the rich, all of those things are currently in the budget bill, and we can only pass those if we pass the full second $3.5 trillion budget bill. So this second bill, this budget bill, is called budget reconciliation. And it's really wonky, but really that just means it's a legislative procedure that we use to pass the bill. It's called reconciliation. So reconciliation allows us to pass bills with a simple majority in the House and Senate. And given that Democrats control both chambers of Congress, they can pass the entirety of the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation without needing to rely on a single Republican vote. So we've used this process before. That's how we passed the American Rescue Plan earlier this year and sent out $1,400 checks to people, which no Republicans voted in favor of. It was only Democrats passing that. It's also how we passed Obamacare back in 2010. So here you can see some of the highlights from reconciliation. When we pass the $3.5 trillion budget bill, we'll be able to fund replacing lead pipes that are currently poisoning our drinking water, providing home care to seniors, lowering drug prices, immigration reform with a pathway to citizenship. And you can see the list here, so I don't need to read all of them, but very important investments across almost every sector of our economy, from the care economy to our schools, to our housing, to transitioning our power off of fossil fuels towards renewable energy. So we can do all of this and we need to do all of this. So we're going to dig deeper into some of these highlights specifically about what we can win and how we're going to do that. And in order to get us started there, I'm going to pass it over to Mercedes.
Thank you, Lauren. Yate Mercedes Yanishia. Hello, my name is Mercedes. I am a member of the Navajo tribe, currently living on traditional Comanche and Apache land in Texas. I'm a national organizer with the Green New Deal Network. Let's get right into it. Through this summer of climate disaster, we have seen exactly how communities of color, Indigenous communities, and low-income communities are hit first and worst by the climate change. These communities are also disproportionately endure toxic air and water and poor housing, school, and roads infrastructure. But the people most impacted by these crises are also the ones leading the way in fighting for solutions. I want to highlight a few important parts of the budget bill that we've been advocating for as the Green New Deal Network. One of the most important pieces of the budget reconciliation bill is that it could prioritize funding to the communities who need it most. The bill would provide funding to oversee President Biden's Justice 40 initiative, which commits 40% of the benefits of climate and infrastructure investments to frontline communities impacted the most by environmental injustice. We also demand to see direct set-asides of these funds for impacted communities. We want to make sure that they are strong equity, environmental, and labor standards attached to all the programs and spending, so that we know good quality jobs and services are going to the communities that need them most. Another thing I want to highlight, public transit provides millions of people, particularly the people of color who are majority users of public transit, with access to jobs, schools, and other essential services. But limited frequency and reliability have created gaps in access. 45% of the country doesn't have access to the public transportation that they need. We need more public transit everywhere, and we must electrify public school and transit buses to reduce air pollution. Like I had said earlier, toxic air pollution disproportionately impacts low-income communities of color, and a full transition to electric buses and rail will help reduce air pollution enough to prevent 4,200 deaths and save about $100 billion in health damages each year, reducing asthma, lung cancer, and other diseases. And the last thing I want to highlight for now, passing the reconciliation bill would mean the largest investment to the Indian Affairs Committee in history. That's over $20 billion for programs and facilities for Native health, education, housing programs, energy, climate resilience, Native language programs, and Native Civilian Climate Corps, and so much more. So we have reached a tipping point. Either we modernize and protect our communities, or we let disasters continue, unabated, leaving future generations a planet that is not habitable anymore. So all that being said, let me pass it on to Adrian.
Thank you, Mercedes. It is so good to be on this call with you and all the other allies here doing the incredible work to win this package. Hello, everyone.
We have reached a tipping point. Either we modernize and protect our communities.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adrian Salazar with the Grassroots Global Justice Alliance, a national alliance of grassroots frontlines organizations all across the country and the US territories. I'm calling from Lenape Territory in the Bronx, New York. This past year, the COVID-19 pandemic has devastated our communities. As the global pandemic continues today, we see that it's put a strain on families as we struggle to cope with everything from lost work to having to juggle caregiving duties. Care workers, the majority of whom are women and immigrants, have held up the economy through this crisis, and they continue to take on enormous burdens in often high-risk working environments. Domestic workers and care workers are on the front lines of climate crisis, often being the first to care for our loved ones most in need in the event of wildfires, storms, and floods. Climate care work is climate work. This is why we and frontline workers are asking for big investments into the care industry. Because the smaller bipartisan bill ignores care, we are calling for $400 billion in funding for long-term home and community care for seniors and people with disabilities in this budget package. A full and just economic recovery from this pandemic and through ongoing climate crisis means investing in a strong care economy that will support good jobs for care workers and help us all weather future crises. We also need to extend financial support to families with children, such as the child tax credit. We know financial support like this works. During the pandemic, Congress sent direct payments to families with the multi-trillion dollar CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan. With the child tax credit, families got up to $300 per month for every child under the age of 6 and up to $250 per month for each child between 6 and 17 years old. And the American Rescue Plan made it so that these payments were sent out monthly rather than waiting for tax season to get them. Because of this, almost 60 million children got these benefits. And experts estimate that the American Rescue Plan helped lift more than 5 million children out of poverty, cutting childhood poverty in half. And the child tax credit was responsible for the majority of this improvement. So when we fight for the full $3.5 trillion investment through the budget reconciliation bill, we can extend the child tax credit to 2025, securing these supports that made a huge difference to so many families. The last thing that I want to mention is that when we pass the whole Build Back Better deal, including the $3.5 trillion in this budget, we can also establish a national comprehensive paid family and medical leave program for the first time in history. Did you even know that this was on the table? National paid family and medical leave would be a critical lifeline for millions of people, so workers can take the time they need to take care of themselves or their loved ones. So it would be available to workers regardless of where you work. If we can pass the full $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill, that is without the need for any Republican votes, we are not only investing in concrete and metal infrastructures like roads and bridges, we are investing in care and social infrastructure. We know from our experiences of the pandemic and of climate crisis again and again that this care infrastructure, care workers, and supports for families is essential for enduring these crises. We can come out of this period with a more robust care economy, drastically improving lives for care workers, for children, for parents, and seniors. So that's what we're fighting for in this package. And I'm going to pass it now back to Lauren, who will talk more about what else we're fighting for, including the Civilian Climate Corps.
Awesome. Thank you, Adrian. Cool. So moving on to talking about the Civilian Climate Corps. As Sunrise Movement and as part of the Green New Deal Network, we've been fighting really hard to make sure that we create and fully fund the CCC. So the Civilian Climate Corps was inspired by a similar program created under President Franklin Roosevelt called the Civilian Conservation Corps, which was one of the signature New Deal programs during the Great Depression. So this original Civilian Conservation Corps was a national public work relief program that employed over 3 million workers over the course of 1 decade, building, repairing, and conserving United States forests, parks, and natural resources. So today, we are facing the intersecting crises of climate change and a global pandemic, among so many other intersecting crises of our time. And millions of workers were left unemployed, and their unemployment benefits just ended, or are employed in jobs that don't even provide them a living wage. So the CCC that we're fighting for is a government jobs program that would put a new generation of Americans to work combating the climate crisis and really improving their communities in a very localized manner. So what that looked like could range from modernizing our electric grid, protecting wetlands, responding in the aftermath of climate disasters, or upgrading public schools or housing. So we're fighting to ensure that the CCC advances racial and economic justice and creates good jobs that are accessible to everyone, meaning $15 minimum wage, benefits including healthcare and education, a career pathway to union jobs after the Corps, and hiring at least 50% of Corps members from communities that are disproportionately harmed by the climate crisis, systemic racism, and our broken economy. So right now, there are a handful of CCC proposals floating around DC, and through the budget reconciliation process, we can make sure that the most ambitious version of this proposal and the proposal that most advances justice makes it into the final Build Back Better package and is signed into law. We really have the chance to do this, which is so exciting to actually think that we will have a visible program of the government actually mobilizing its resources and embodying the Green New Deal to put young people and anyone who wants to kind of serve this country and be trained into good jobs to tackle the climate crisis and heal communities into those jobs. So that will be an actual visible program that we can apply into if we pass this bill. So clearly very excited about this. And now I'm going to turn it over to Alex, who's going to tell us about their organizing in West Virginia. So passing over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate you. And thanks everyone for tuning in this evening. My name's Alex. I am here in Charleston, West Virginia, and residing on Cherokee and Iroquois land. Want to give gratitude to each of you for tuning in this evening. We've got a historic moment on our hands, and time is of the essence. We know that President Biden set a goal of removing 100% of all lead pipes in the country to tackle crisis like those experienced in cities in Flint and Newark. In the chat, if you can let us know if you believe that clean drinking water is a human right, please let us know, because we believe here at the Green New Deal Network that water is a human right and everyone deserves access to clean drinking water. But communities with outdated infrastructure are more likely to include people of color and low-income families, disproportionately exposing them to toxic water. However, the bipartisan infrastructure plan only allocated enough funding to replace 1 in every 4 lead pipes. We need our Democrats in Congress and Biden to uphold the promise they made and raise that funding level so we can replace every single lead pipe in the country. Our whole network and other advocates have been pushing Congress to not stop the $15 billion plan that's in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, but to go for $45 billion that's needed to truly replace every lead pipe through the budget reconciliation bill. Millions of Americans get their water through lead service lines. The alarm sounded here in Clarksburg, West Virginia, when 3 children in town tested positive for elevated levels of lead in their blood. The State Department of Health and Human Resources says 31 children in Harrison County presented elevated lead levels in 2020. And same goes for almost 500 children in West Virginia from 2015 to 2019. Documents released by the EPA reveal lead levels at tens or 100 parts per billion, and in some cases in excess of 1,000 parts per billion, well beyond the federal standard of 15 parts per billion. An original order issued by West Virginia's state health officer indicated elevated blood levels detected in the bloodstream of children residing in Clarksburg triggered the collection of drinking water samples. EPA's emergency order followed the alleged failure of the Water Board to comply with the state order. The greatest risk is to our children, who can experience developmental issues like a delay in acquiring speech or learning issues. High levels can also cause seizures. We're not supposed to have any lead in our body. It's really not required in biological systems for anything, said Jim Becker, who specializes in occupational and environmental medicine at Marshall Health. It's a toxin at every level. How many more communities must face a lead contamination crisis and poison their children before we get every lead pipe out of the ground across the nation? Today, it's Clarksburg, West Virginia. Before then, it was Newark, New Jersey, and Flint, Michigan. These are not isolated 1 in a million episodes. Every parent should be able to give their child a glass of water without it being contaminated by toxic lead. President Biden's plan is a historic opportunity to fix the nation's lead pipe crisis in West Virginia and beyond. I'm going to turn it over to Megan from California. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks, Alex. Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Nguyen, and I'm calling in from California. I run the communications for the California Green New Deal Coalition in California, which is a member of the Green New Deal Network. California is my home, and I'm tired of seeing my home burn every year. Wildfires affect everyone, not just the immediate threats to homes and lives, but the smoke makes the air toxic to breathe, and climate change-induced extreme heat events are also an impact. As someone living with asthma, I just want to be able to breathe clean air. I want to be able to look up and see blue skies, and I want to be able to drink clean water. Wildfire season in California is no longer a matter of if, but when. And it's time for us to take action and welcome in the decade of the Green New Deal. In California, we are rallying. Last month, we held 80 actions all across the country, 2 big ones being in California, to ask Congress to seal the deal with no cuts to climate, care workers, jobs, and justice. Our work is not over, and we still need Congress to pass the full Build Back Better deal. And so let's keep cheering on our champions. We need our representatives to step up and take action at the scale that this crisis demands. It's been amazing to see the mutual aid response come from our community to take care of each other. We're doing our job to protect our community. It's time for our elected leaders to do their job and pass that Build Back Better plan. Drop in the comments if you're with me. Hashtag Build Back Better. So let's recap where we're at right now. Congress is in the final stages of negotiations, and we expect a vote on both the smaller bipartisan bill and the larger budget reconciliation bill that we need within the next few weeks. It's important that we pass the big budget reconciliation bill first, so we don't lose any leverage to win the investment we need. After all, we don't want Congress to pass the smaller bipartisan bill and say they're done. If this becomes a problem, we'll need to show up and show love and support for our champions who are gonna hold that line to make sure that $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill goes first and not a penny less. And shout out to some of our progressive allies that are holding the line, like Representative Ro Khanna. And we're definitely going to keep Speaker Pelosi accountable to her promise to pass a big and bold reconciliation bill. So let's keep up the support. We need all hands on deck to keep demonstrating mass public support for bold investments in climate, care workers, jobs, and justice. We want and demand Congress to deliver on these promises for us, for our communities, and for our futures. So thanks, everybody. If you're with us, drop it in the comments and make sure you're pressuring and demanding our representatives to take action. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it to Ophelia from Florida to name who's at risk of cutting down this bill and who stands to get on our way. So take it away, Ophelia.
Thanks, Megan. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here talking strategy with y'all on this lovely Sunday. My name is Ophelia Sanchez, and I am currently based on Seminole and Timucua lands. I am the Orlando organizer for Central Florida Jobs with Justice, a member of the Green New Deal Network. As many of you know, Florida is considered the Sunshine State, but as of late, it is getting hotter every year, and more of our communities and their homes are increasingly at risk of heat stress, sea level rise, flooding, hurricanes, sinkholes, and many other climate change-induced disasters. We can begin to work towards solving some of these big issues, but we need to pass the big budget bill to make sure we can make the investments we need in stopping climate change and supporting our communities. We are currently facing some challenges in making that happen. One of the challenges is that the reconciliation process means all the Democrats in the Senate and almost all Democrats in the House have to be on board with a bill to get it across the finish line. Remember, reconciliation just means that a simple majority of Congress members in each chamber have to vote yes on the bill. But Democrats hold a slim majority in each chamber. Yet in the Senate and the House, there have been some Democrats who have expressed their opposition to passing the reconciliation bill at all, who want to see it smaller, who want to see the bipartisan bill pass first, which would ultimately erase all momentum for reconciliation to get done. This graphic shows 12 House Democrats who have expressed various objections to the reconciliation process. Most recently, 3 of them, Representative Peters from California, Representative Rice from New York, and Representative Schrader from Oregon, recently voted in committee against a provision to let Medicare negotiate lower drug prices. Guess what? They've each received a ton of contributions from the pharmaceutical industry. Who would have thought, right? This is already causing a delay in passing a final reconciliation bill. In my state, Florida, Representative Stephanie Murphy is on that list. She's been pushing for the smaller bipartisan bill to go first, but we say, no way. Congress must pass the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill first, not 1 penny less. Then we finish the deal by passing the bipartisan bill at the end. That's why right now we're organizing folks here in Central Florida, her constituents. We're letting them know what's happening. We're ensuring that they are aware of what the representative is currently standing in the way of. We're making calls, we're sending texts, and encouraging them all to do the same and tell Congresswoman Murphy that we cannot wait any longer for all of these investments in our community. We're participating in actions with our partner organizations here in Florida, also pushing her around issues of immigration, the child tax credit, and other necessary parts of the reconciliation bill. And ultimately, we're holding her accountable throughout the process. It's not just a problem in the House, unfortunately. In the Senate, Senators Joe Manchin from West Virginia and Kristen Sinema from Arizona have said they don't support the price tag, but they haven't named any specifics of what they want to cut. They simply want to protect tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations instead of fighting for every penny of investments our communities need. But we're going to hold our representatives accountable to delivering on their promises to stop climate change, support care workers, and fight inequality. Are you going to hold them accountable? Are you going to make the phone calls? Are you going to send the texts and the emails? Let us know in the comments. Back to you, Dallas.
Hey, thank you so much, Ophelia, for bringing your power, bringing your voice to all of our previous speakers, for bringing everything who you are in your communities along with you to this space right now. I mean, oh, my video is off. Is my video working? Can you see me now? Can you see me now? All right. I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers for bringing their power and energy here. My son's off. My son's starting to, I have a little infant son who is like tired, saying, hey, Dad, why are you working on a Sunday night? And I'm working here for them, for my son, for all our future generations. This is what this fight is about. This is why we're here. It's because we're not just trying to protect and ensure the world as it is right now. We want to make sure that this planet is inhabitable for the next 7 generations of life and onward. And one very simple way right now that you can help us is by tweeting at your member of Congress. And we made it a little bit easier for you here. So if you go to the link on the screen, it's gndn.us/tweet. That's gndn.us/tweet. And you can tweet your member of Congress. So we're kind of helping you out a little bit. Once you're done, let us know in the comments. Just tell us you were able to do that. If you don't have Twitter, no worries. Don't worry about it. You can go to gndn.us/call. So that's another way that we made it easier for you to reach out directly to the members of Congress that represent you and to let them know what your opinion is on this and help them know that we're putting pressure on them. We're not going to ease up. We need to keep reaching out to Congress. We need to reach out to those folks that we elected into office and tell them to pass the full Build Back Better deal, including the $3.5 trillion budget bill, to make the investments we need in climate, care, jobs, and justice. Not a penny less. It's absolutely essential. We've already sacrificed so much. Why keep on going past the red line? We got to keep moving forward. We hope this call was informative and helped you get a better understanding of the Build Back Better infrastructure deal and what's at play in Washington, D.C. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this fight. Keep the pressure up on your members of Congress. With your help, we can make this the decade of the Green New Deal. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you for every brave action you've taken to ensure that this future that we're building is a just future, is a sustainable future, is a renewable future, and is a future that we can be proud of for the next 7 generations of life. Thank you very much and have a good night.